Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video. This TWAB video is a little late because I was mourning the loss of my blue checkmark. No, I'm just kidding. I was watching the Diablo 4 live stream, which was 90 minutes long. I'm actually stopping during the Q&A section because I think I got pretty much all my questions answered, namely that there was a third beta coming on May 12th. But in terms of the TWAB, we have something that I imagine is not going to be terribly in-depth, but I guess we'll go through it anyway. The TWAB is by Timon. I don't know who that is. I thought I knew all the community people, but maybe not. And we'll just get going. Okay. This week at Bungie, we're taking a short breath from beefy TWABs. Yeah, okay. So not a ton here. But don't you worry, we have a lot more to come in the next weeks. Personally, I'm celebrating writing my first TWAB ever. So as you say in northern Germany, moin moin. Hello in English. Okay, so I guess this is the German community manager. Last week's TWAB, yeah, we know what that was. Okay, this week, highlights of the midseason patch, highlights of our recent accessibility options article, community exotic weapon ornaments, and the next community ornament vote. Last week of Iron Banner, movie of the week, art of the week. Okay. It's unbelievable, but the first season of Lightfall is halfway over. Therefore, we had some cool stuff to share with you in this week's patch notes. So let's take a look at some changes introduced in update 7050. Alright, so we know about this stuff, but I guess I can kind of talk about how some of these things feel, because there isn't too much else in this TWAB. And I guess this can serve as the, how does everything feel after the patch, other than the massive technical problems. In terms of what was actually supposed to change. Okay, Crucible, removing Clash from Quick Play and splitting rotators into two nodes. Clash Zone Control Rift in one, Mayhem Scorch Momentum Control in the other. Sure, that's fine. Core 6v6 Rotator, Clash Zone Control Rift, rebranded as Relentless. I didn't even see that. Okay. Increase the respawn overshield protection in PvP. Okay. Introduce a seasonal ascendant emblem and a stat tracker to display your current competitive division. This emblem is actually awesome. It's probably the best emblem in the game. I think they need more like exotic level emblems like that. Still no motion emblems. We haven't gotten to motion emblems yet. I'm guessing that's an engine limitation more than like no one can build a moving emblem. That's my guess. Crucible and Gambit titles and gilding are being fixed and reset. Yeah, I lost my gilding on like pretty much everything. Trials of Osiris combinations will be blocked if you do not get other trials rewards. Is this a known issue or is this a patch? I don't know what that is. Okay. Tune difficulty in Heist Battlegrounds present in Vanguard and Nightfall playlists. I heard this was making the Mars one a little easier. Between this and some other things, like there's a rumor going around that something happened to Resilience, and like it's a lot of people saying that they feel squishier than they have previously. I feel like I have noticed this myself, and yet I don't know, there's supposedly a video that like proves nothing changed with Resilience, like the testing, but I don't know, maybe it's like some masked collective delusion. But I heard people in like the Mars Heist Battleground especially are getting like one shot by Thrall and like all this random stuff. So I don't know, I do feel like I'm a little weaker than before, but I'm not willing to rule out this is like a collective mass delusion as opposed to an actual bug, but I guess we'll find out over time. Defeating Tormentors now provides revive tokens. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Alright, PvE primary weapon balance. Increase the damage of the following weapon types against red and orange bar enemies in PvE. Auto rifles 25%, pulse, hand cannons, and sidearms 20%, scout rifles 10%. Yeah, so even though I've been complaining about many things, including all the things that broke with the game and all the unnecessary stealth nerfs they did, this feels good. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it especially feels good on exotics, I'd say. Using a ton of different exotic auto rifles now. Quicksilver Storm is a monster, as you might have expected. Stuff like Monte Carlo even seems viable now. In terms of pulse rifles and things, Revision 0 is nuts now. Like it got the pulse rifle buff, and then it got a 75% increase to the 2 burst. And then 25% to its, I forget what they're called, the little sniper round things. It is beastly. It could be better than Wish Ender now, especially because it's anti-barrier. It's a monster now. I have not tested that many hand cannons yet. I want to test out stuff like Sunshot or Malfeasance in PvE, but I haven't really done that yet. Sidearms, I've really only done the strand one. I forget what the name of it is, but the auto targeting Titanfall one. That already was kind of shredding things, but now the increase to that makes it even better. In terms of PvE sidearms, I have to go back and see what the good PvE sidearms even are now. You really only heard about them in Crucible for a while because it's so much risk being that close, but according to metrics, they are supposed to be one of the best mob clearing things in the game now. Evie, what was that? Are you banging your horn around? Okay. This is audio, you can't do that. Scout rifles, I've been using the kinetics, not kinetic stop, kinetic, whatever it's called, kinetic earthquake, the hung jury, and the Vanguard one, what is it called? That rolls with it. Those have felt a little better. I have not really used too many exotic scouts yet. I was using Jade Rabbit, Momentum Control, but that doesn't count. Stuff like Polaris Lance should feel a little better, but 10% is not huge. I will say, so what doesn't feel great, legendary hand cannons still don't feel amazing. You are still, instead of 4 headshots to kill a red bar in Neomuna, it's 3 headshots now, maybe, depending on the gun. I've noticed that some feel better than others. I was trying to use my Time Lost Fatebringer on Neomuna. That did not feel great. But the 120 round robin actually felt better, significantly better as a 120. So it may depend on the archetype. But I think hand cannons need some additional buffs, especially legendary, and then maybe some reload buffs for PvE. Pulse rifles do feel pretty good. I can't really say that I've noticed any horrific performance from pulse rifles, but I haven't used perhaps maybe enough of them to get a full sense of it. But the ones I have used so far do feel pretty good. Obviously, there are a lot of really high quality exotic pulse rifles. Revision 0, Outbreak Perfected, there's many that were already pretty good. Graviton Lance, and now they are even better. So it's not quite the level of auto rifles, but it is a significant buff for those exotics, especially. Other important changes. You can upgrade Root of Nightmare's Adept weapons with enhanced traits now. This is retroactive, so you can go back and upgrade the ones you already have. There have been some technical issues with this, and if you upgrade an enhancement level and do something else at the same time, it doesn't work. I don't really know what's going on with that, but that does not launch super smoothly. You can collect exotic glaive patterns from the evidence board. I've heard a few people couldn't do this, but I'm not sure. Added a combination and stat tracker for best dressed. Honestly, an amazing change. The combination system has been so useless, and this is the first combination that actually feels good to get. And I know some people are just spamming whatever, but it really does feel good to get a best dressed combination as someone who actually cares about how you look in Destiny and spends a lot of time putting effort into that and has never taken off their fashion emblem since they won it. Literally one of my highlights of this week was playing a Crucible game, and I think we lost, but I got 5 best dressed combinations out from everyone else on my team because my hunter looks so cool. That feels great. I don't care about any of the other combinations. Truly, none of them, the other ones matter, but that one does feel specifically good. So it is not nonsense tied to the other ones. What are they even lovable? No, that's not one. Fun loving, thoughtful. Those don't mean anything. Some of them do. Primeval Slayer, if you did the most damage to Primeval, or level headed. I don't know what that's supposed to mean in PvP, but I would say only a couple of them really mean anything, and the rest are just sort of nonsense words that are just vaguely positive. Best dress feels good. I suggested they should do a second best dress and third best dressed and cut everything else. New in accessibility. So they had a full article about this. You can go read that if you want the full highlights, but we have reticle changes. You can change the color. I think there's some other things. They're putting full auto melee in the game. I don't know when this is happening, though. Toggle settings, additions. I don't know what that means. Subtitle color choice. This is, there's a lot of colorblind stuff in here. I am colorblind, but not so severely so that I'm totally mixing things up in the game. It is sometimes, so this might be helpful. Peek at what's new with combination if you have any variation of color blindness, so I should probably look at that. Read the full update with additional info here. Okay. So, the first community voted weapon ornament is coming to Destiny. With the launch of Season 21, we're releasing your Arbalest ornament. This is, I guess, was this a Neomuna one? Did they design a Neomuna one before Neomuna came out? That's what it seems like. You can acquire the new ornament in the Eververse store. When is this? Season 21. Okay. And now there is a new vote. Fashion Destiny is a vital part of the game. And some of us can be pretty invested in using the right ornaments to make our Guardian shine. Yes, except if it's Thunderlord, it won't show up because that is a heavy weapon and you will not be holding it. Armor isn't the only thing that's important. That's why we're announcing the next community weapon ornament voting. We have a selection of awesome weapons you can choose from. The design behind the chosen ornament will be created by an artist from our Destiny community who are amazing when it comes to bringing the game into the real world through art. We have an artist picked out, so please don't feel the need to start any campaigns on whom we should pick. We also aren't asking them to do this work for free, and we'll be paying them, just like when we work with other external concept artists. Here are the weapons. This is not the right order. Witherhoard, Thunderlord is Nagi's. So, in terms of, I think Witherhoard is probably going to win just on total usage. Thunderlord is obviously very good now with machine gun buffs and overload. Izanagi's is certainly good for DPS in a lot of situations, but I think these other two are more commonly used. So once the above exotics have been selected, we will work with the community artist to create 3 different ornaments. The winning design will be a weapon ornament in the game. This is the process. It will be released on April 20th. And we want to make sure we give our artists plenty of time to work. So it'll take some time until we reveal them and the concepts. Once the community has picked a concept and it's ready to go in production, it's going to take a bit of time to go through a content pipeline. So you won't see this until the final shape. That is very far, but that is how they design ornaments for things. That's why we vote on the Halloween things like 9 months early. Last week of Iron Banner is coming. Okay, first of all, though, so I like this idea of like getting a community artist to do something. I think the problem is like my favorite weapon ornaments are when they like radically change the look of the gun. And what happened with the Arbalest one is like they put a lot of different like cool patterns on it, and like this is cool. The Black Armory one was cool, but for the most part, it is very much the same exact structure as the existing Arbalest, with a few tweaks. And my concern is that these kind of look like really elaborate shaders or like decals rather than the ones that totally change, the nature of the weapon. Witherhoard actually, I forget how many ornaments are, but the other Witherhoard ornament is just like white and gold. Thunderlord does have some pretty good ones. I have the newest one that does change it a good amount. Izanagi's has some crazy ones, like the one that makes it like a giant buster sword. Like that's the kind of stuff you're not going to see in the community thing unless they drastically change it. So that's my only issue with that. Weapon crafting. This is the problem with enhancement tier. Resolved issues. Oh, missed resolved issues. Okay, this is the long list of things that may have seemed like bugs but are actually stealth patch notes which they missed like 11, 12 different points. Very, very controversial in the community. Nerfing orb generation on Ashes to Ashes with hands-on. I heard that these may not be working even if these are not being used in tandem. Grenade Kickstart doesn't work when activating a grapple point. That has nerfed a lot of grapple-specific hunter builds that I don't think anyone was saying were too overpowered. And then Firepower and Heavy-Handed combine, only one Orb of Power will spawn. And then Ashes to Assets has its super gain nerfed when getting a grapple melee kill after using a grapple point. I mean, there's some buffs in here. You can get Unraveling on strand weapons without being strand. Better ammo capacity from reserve mods. And fix an issue with the Harsh Language shotgun now quickly activates void perks. That's not a shotgun. That is a grenade launcher. Okay. Fall damage is not now lethal to players. Previously only collision damage is non-lethal. Yeah, I've already noticed that. I mean, that's certainly good. Known issues. Yeah, this is the Amanda Holiday thing where you can't finish the quest. That is certainly very annoying. You weren't supposed to get the ship from resetting the vendor. You were supposed to get a ghost, and that was wrong, and that's why you can't get the last thing now. Shah Han quest dialogue is cut off. Volatile Flow does not activate consistently. Oh, that was one I did not have in my list, but I guess that's happening. Cheerful Destruction does not grant bonus progression for Guardian kills. Insight Terminus can produce bird errors. Audio may appear distorted. Yeah, I heard that one a lot. Guardian Games is the incorrect class displayed. Guardian Games Triumphs are activating earlier than intended, and the title is flashing. You can claim these when Guardian Games launches in 2 weeks. Okay, so the ones you're getting now, I guess you can claim when it starts. So you might as well try and do some of them now, I guess. I don't know. Zone Control doesn't display increased Crucible rank modifier. Dying in the Hypernet boss room can sometimes get a player's ghost stuck in the floor. Quitter penalties were accidentally enabled and then has been corrected. Rewards are delayed in certain raid encounters, with some going to the Postmaster. Yep, I had that in my list. Radiant no longer stuns barrier champions. Yep, that was on my list. Fire sprites may no longer be generated from grenade kills. Most of these are exactly from the list I wrote. almost word for word. So yeah, a lot of stuff broke with the last patch. Does not feel great. Okay. So that's the first TWAB from Timon. And yeah, we'll see what exotic ornament wins, but it's probably not going to be a Sanagi's. I don't think so. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.